So good afternoon and welcome to the Evident Proof demo. My name is Ian Taylor. We run these demos twice weekly at around sort of 10 a.m. on the Tuesday and 4 p.m. on the Thursday London time. And the purpose of the demo really is to give an overview of what Evident Proof is, how it works. And what I'll do then is run through a sample workflow from one of our existing clients. And we'll look at how they use the Evident Proof system to store their data immutably. So what is Evident Proof? Evident Proof is an enterprise platform for storing immutable proof of evidence. So what does that mean and why is this important to a business? So I'll run through how the platform and technology works first. And what we do is we take a hash of your data structure and we convert that into something called a proof seal. Now, we store this in an immutable way on a technology called blockchain. Now, the blockchain has some unique properties as it stores data in a decentralized, distributed way, and it does this across thousands of computers, meaning that the data is stored in a way that it's basically unhackable. So storing data in an immutable way means it can't be changed, it can't be tampered with, and more importantly, it just cannot be hacked. So because of the way that the Evident Proof service stores your data, you could take that data later down and the line, and it could be used to be presented in a court of law. And this could be in a patent scenario or in an audit or a compliance scenario. So what we would do at this point, when your data integrity or your data has been challenged, we would give you proof of your evidence. So we've got a number of existing clients using the system today. One of them is the largest supplier of the government taxi licensing solutions to the UK local governments. And effectively, their line of business solution deals with the checks and balances around the governance of the issuing of a taxi license. So why would they need to store that data in a mutable way? So early this year, there was a number of articles in the press which stated that last year in the UK, 150 taxi licenses were issued to drivers, and a lot of those had criminal convictions, drink driving bans. There were many other misdemeanors as well that they had. So at this point, there's a burden of proof on the company and, sort of more importantly, the local government to prove that they carried out all of these checks and balances and that the results were not somehow falsified by somebody who may have gained access or hacked into that data. So using the Evident Proof service, they're able to prove that these checks and balances have been made and that data hasn't been tampered with. So the actual line of business application that the taxi licensing software has is quite a comprehensive solution. So what I'm going to do now is show you really a trimmed down solution that we've created as really a standalone demo. And this effectively just shows creating a license and then how that would get streamed into the Evident Proof system and then converted into a proof seal, really storing this data immutably in a distributed fashion on the blockchain. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log into the taxi licensing solution. Now, what you'll be able to see here really is our client's line of business application. So this could be any piece of software that they're currently using, anything that they're using to store data with. What we're doing is really replicating that end user process for their line of business applications in-house. So here, as you can see, is some very simple questions. Now, obviously, this could be a far more complex form or something that you're currently using to capture that data. And with our help, we could work with you to assess what parts of this information would need the governance around to basically be stored on the blockchain immutably, so you could take that in future and present it in a court of law. So what I'm going to do at the moment is just create a quick license here. So I'm just entering in the data fields, and these are the data fields that are going to be pushed to the Evident Proof system, and we're going to create a proof seal from these. So I'm going to say that the license is active. I'm going to confirm that I've done a criminal check record, but obviously there would be probably hundreds of related pieces of documentation behind this, all of which again could be stored through the platform. And I'm going to put in a random license. I'm going to confirm that I've done the identity check. And again, this could be multiple pieces of information and data that would need to be stored through the Evident Proof solution. So if I just create the license here, Okay, that's great. As you can see, the license has now been created. And now if I log into the Evident Proof platform, if I go into the proof seals here, and I can see that we've created a new license. So let's take a look at this license now, and then we can describe a little bit about the data that we're looking at here as well. So firstly, we've got the dispatch ID. So with the dispatch ID, this is an API call into the service, and it's a dispatch of evidence records into the Evident Proof service. And the actual structure of the data, the evidence itself, is a fixed schema, and we work with you to set this up. And this is the way that we expect the data to be presented to us. So as I mentioned, it's a fixed schema, and it shows that we can correlate between the evidence and proof still stored on the blockchain. And then we've got the where and the when. So the where is an IP address. It could be geolocated, geolocation as well. It could be the IP address of the in-house solutions or systems that you're currently using if they're cloud-based. And of course, importantly as well, we've got the timestamp, which indicates when the data was received and stored on the blockchain as well. So the PSU that we're looking at here, so this allows you to check that this is a key that relates back to the same data into your data or line of business applications. Now, this could really be a single key or a compound key or an ID or an asset. This is whatever you need to correlate back into your source data, to the source data in your systems itself. So you can also see here we've got the key and the value, which would be quite familiar to any sort of software developers as a way of storing evidence. And in this scenario, as you can see, we're only storing a single value key. In fact, a dispatch could store many pieces of evidence, and this could be forms, documents, whatever you really need to. And below here, we've got the value, the JSON value. So it's a representation of the forms of data, and this could be a single field or multiple fields. It could be anything, again, you need it to be. In fact, it could be the English dictionary if that's what you need to record. We then finally have the proof seal. Now, this is a hash of all of this data, and what the proof seal is used for is for a checksum verification of the data. Now, none of your data is revealed within the seal, but it does prove your data. So we've also got the dispatch receipt here. Now, we have the receipt that is returned to you by the API call, and effectively the receipt is your method of saying that this data has been immutably stored on the Evident Proof blockchain or the Evident Proof solution, and here's how I could navigate back to that using this ID. We've then got the proof certificate. So the proof certificate is literally a document that pulls together all of the information that we've discussed. And you could present this in a court of law, and it would confirm that the data was stored on the blockchain in a certain way through the Evident Proof platform. So let's assume we're a year down the line and somebody's challenged the integrity of a particular piece of data, maybe this data or this data check validation checks that we've done on this taxi license. And therefore, we need to go back and prove that data. So what we can do within the Evident Proof solution is we can create a proof certificate. So this can be done through an API call. At the moment, I'm doing it through a manual process, but it could be done automatically through an API call, and it would create the certificate itself. And then if we have a look at that proof certificate, and what happens here is when we create a proof certificate, is we put out a request, and this goes off to the blockchain, checks the data and the seal, and then finally checks that it matches to our source data. So as you can see here, all of this information looks familiar, except we've got a transaction ID, which is really the key to the certificate, and it can prove that the taxi license provenance of the data is all here and correct. So essentially what we've done today is we've looked at a line of business application. And again, as we said, this could be any line of business application. We've just gone through and looked at certain fields. all of the information that you've seen throughout this demo could be customized, fully customized to any client's line of business application and the data that you're looking to store as a mutable proof of evidence for the future. And all of the certificates themselves can also be dynamically customized to individuals. So that's the Evident Proof demo walkthrough. If there's any questions, please pop them over on Telegram, and either myself or one of my colleagues will answer them. And the next demo that we'll do will be Tuesday at 10 a.m. So I look forward to speaking to anybody else that wants to be on that. Thank you.